Good morning and welcome to the 2013-2014 school year. I'm excited to be starting off this year as your new vice principal, and I look forward to working together to continue this wonderful community of learners that you have all worked so hard to establish. I trust that you've all had a good summer and that you've done something that you all enjoy, and I look forward to finding out what all of those things are. I have gotten to know a few of you as you've been setting up your classrooms and I've been around the building, but I look forward to getting to know each and every one of you. Before we begin, let me take a few minutes to just tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Kira Schmuller, and I'm actually a school psychologist by training, a capacity that I've been working in for the past 13 years. This has afforded me the opportunity to be in very different types of classrooms, ranging from preschool through high school, from math class through social skills groups, and everything in between. I've had the opportunity to work hand in hand with teachers, deciding on specific student goals, and helping teachers consult on behaviors that might have been problems in their classrooms. And I look forward to bringing those skills here and helping you as you move forward and we learn together how to navigate what we have. We're on the bridge of something new. We're in the 21st century and we need to think that way in terms of 21st century learning. I challenge all of you to keep that in mind as we move forward in our classrooms this year. We began that initiative last January when the students were issued iPads. But now I challenge you to continue to take risks and engage your students to move forward using technology that we know will be beneficial for them in their future. Using this technology, I hope that we'll be able to incorporate a lot of wonderful lessons in your classrooms, and I look forward to coming around and visiting your rooms and seeing how you are implementing all of that knowledge. That being said, I know that a lot of you have hesitation about what our new future holds with teacher evaluations and how this is going to work for us. So let me clear your minds a little bit and hopefully make you feel a little bit better. I will be coming in to observe 3 times during the year. Those will be formal observations. But that being said, I want to work collaboratively to know what's happening, what I'm observing, and work together to reflect on all of those pieces when observations are complete. I will be coming in much more than those 3 times, however, as we get to know each other's styles. I encourage you all to come to visit me in my office so that we can learn from each other and move forward with the most advanced practices out there. A couple things I do want to share with you before we move on, and I think that these are important principles of learning that I'd like to see incorporated in your classrooms this year. The first one that I want to talk about is effective planning. Effective planning, in my mind, means that we are planning for both short-term and long-term goals. We're working off the core curriculum content standards, and that being said, I want to make sure that you align those goals with those standards and take into account the differing needs of students. For example, there are students in your classrooms that do have IEPs and 504s. And I want to make sure that you're planning instruction accordingly so that their needs are met as well. You may need to differentiate what your instruction is. You may need to come up with different goals within that lesson plan that meet individual students' needs and meet with each student individually to go over what those goals are. The next principle I want to discuss is the use of technology in 21st century learning. As I mentioned earlier, every single one of your students now has an iPad. You should be incorporating that into your daily lessons. Students today, and let's be honest, all of us, use technology. We can't go anywhere without it. How many of us use our cell phone for everything, and that's our go-to device, or the iPad, when we do things? And that's the same for our students. So we want to align our lessons so that they're meaningful to the students and they help them move forward as we continue our learning. Next, I want to talk about appropriate assessment. A lot of us know tests, quizzes, kids know that, we know that. We get an assessment of what they've learned, but that's not the only picture. We should use multiple measures for mastery. It's important to give students projects or give them group work so that they can collaborate with each other. Using those performance-based assessments is just as important as that one-shot deal when they take a test. Your assessments should also incorporate 21st century skills. We need to make sure that our students are knowledgeable in problem solving, in critical thinking, in collaboration, in self-direction, and in metacognition. All of these things are extremely important because these are skills that they're going to need to use going forward. It's not rote memorization or just knowledge of one topic. It's having that deeper understanding as we move forward. It's important to set clear goals and expectations so that your students know what it is that they're learning. Share your objectives with them. Make sure that they know what the point of our lessons are. In addition, make sure that your expectations of the students are appropriate. Sure, there are some students that you can expect more from, and some that maybe we know ahead of time won't be able to do that, but set expectations that are reasonable for each individual student. And provide them with a rubric for what they're going to learn or what they need to know in order to master each concept. These are important skills that'll help students be successful in the classroom. The next concept I want to talk about is active involvement. We need to keep students actively engaged in their learning. What does that mean? And it could be different for every single subject, but to me, that means getting them excited about learning. Providing opportunities for them to collaborate with you, with their peers, on what's happening in that classroom. Providing them with projects to be interactive may seem like a chaotic classroom, lacking control, but what it is active involvement. And for a student, that's important. That way they don't zone out, they're included in the lesson, and they're a part of the instruction. Learning also needs to be authentic. What does that mean, authentic learning? In my mind, authentic learning is linking prior knowledge to new information. And that way the student understands better what it is that you're trying to come across or impart to them in terms of knowledge. We need to assess their prior knowledge so that we know where we're starting from and then use the tools that we have in our toolkits to link that learning to the new information that we're providing for them. In this way, learning is meaningful to them and they come away with much more than just whatever that concept is for the day and then it's forgotten a week later. We've all talked about classroom management probably from day one in your college career looking at education, but yet it's still a very important principle that we need to look at when we're talking about the students in our classrooms. We need to set clear standards of what their behavior must be and respond consistently when there is misbehavior. Now, we know there's not going to be any in any of your classes, but should that arise, we need to be consistent in the way that we respond to misbehaviors. The way to avoid those behaviors, though, is to be proactive. Involve the students, let them know what the expectations are, and set those standards ahead of time so as to eliminate conflict. And certainly, if you see something arise, intervene before it gets any further down that path. Having a respectful community is one of the most important keys in helping students learn. Students need to feel safe in that classroom knowing that their thoughts and opinions are respected and that they have an equal right to share what they have in terms of their learning and their thoughts. I want to encourage you to encourage your students to have positive student interactions. I know that can be hard sometimes, but you're the role model in that classroom and the leader. So we need to respect students' opinions. We need to teach them to respect each other, and we need to try to provide them with an environment where they're comfortable working together as we go forward. Throughout this whole process, there's one thing that we all need to be doing, and that's reflecting. We have to have an ongoing reflection of, are these practices that I'm doing in my classroom really working? Are they benefiting the students? Do I need to be flexible and change something in the way that I'm doing this, whether it be mid-lesson or as a reflection afterwards during a post-observation conference? Either way, we need to evaluate our standards and practices constantly and revise our lessons based on what we reflect on. We need to see whether or not students have learned and have gained and improve our instruction by making changes as we move forward. I'll be more than happy to sit down with you and reflect on those things. And another way to do it is encourage your students to reflect as well. Ask them, what have you learned from this lesson? Have you learned? What can you take going forward? How can these skills be applied in other areas? These are important things to think about to make sure that what we're doing is right. And last but not least, you guys are professionals, and I know that. You have a ton of knowledge in areas, and we can learn from each other greatly, but there's always room to learn more. And what I'd like to see is you seeking to learn more, whether it be from each other, the teacher in the classroom next door, or from professional development workshops, either in the building or outside of our district. I encourage all of you to continue to do that because that's part of your professional responsibility. I will help you as best I can. I'd like to set up meetings twice a month, once a month with your grade level and the other time a month with your instructional subject level so that you can collaborate with your teams and bounce ideas off of each other and work together to improve what you have already done wonderfully. In addition to that, I encourage you to find a peer and ask them to come into your room and observe and help make constructive criticism or give you a big thumbs up and a kudos for all the things that you're doing. These are the ways that we can improve and reflect together. I will do those things for you as well. And if there's a particular lesson that you'd like for me to come in to observe, please leave me a note, shoot me an email, knock on my door, whatever works for you, and let me know that you'd like for me to come in, or just come in and talk to me and reflect on what is it that's going on and in the room at the time and how can we make it better. These are the ways that we can professionally move forward. I want to thank you for your time this morning and wish you well as you begin your school year. And I just want to leave you with one last thing. I want you to take risks. Wise risk-taking is important. I want to push you a little bit to do things outside of your comfort zone so that we can push our students and challenge them in the same way. Good luck, and I hope to meet all of you individually very soon.